Hey everyone, welcome back to my home and welcome back to another video that I hope inspires you to get a little more organized. Today I'm going to be restocking my pantry area and also kind of extending it. I have a corner Lazy Susan that I'm excited to show you how I decided to organize, and I really did this a big stock up. Now I only do this every couple of months and then we kind of run down to bare bones and then I go get everything we need again. So as you see here, a lot of my pantry was really empty and a little bit of a hot mess. There was just stuff thrown in there, especially up here in my baking section, and it just needed to be reorganized, and I needed to tweak a couple of things, mainly thinking about my daughters and making things a bit more accessible to them. So as you can see, these were the containers that I had in there and the bins and the baskets. Some of them I did keep, and then some of them I'm swapping out, which you'll see here in a moment. And then this is the corner Lazy Susan that has pretty much kind of sat empty this whole time, and I decided to go ahead and make it for canned goods and just condiments and things like that. So one of the first things that I wanted to swap out was this little turntable, and I love it here. It just is so accessible right next to the stove, but I needed one that was just a little bit bigger, and I originally had canned goods in this one, but since I was moving them to the corner, I thought, why don't I swap it out for the one that I had there? And I have another use for the one that's there, which I will show you in just a moment. And honestly, some of these boxes and things that were sitting in here were actually empty, so I needed to throw them away. And those containers that you're seeing that originally had some of my snack stuff in them are really hard for my daughters to open, and so I wanted to get these flip top lid style ones for them to be able to open them a lot easier. So the first thing that I did was take everything out of the pantry and just kind of get it to the point where I could wipe out the shelves. It really needed it. Like I said, it's been a couple of months since I had originally organized all of this, and I wanted to take advantage of it being mostly empty to clean it as well. Alright, so this is my coffee corner, and I have a whole video on this, but I wanted to use that little turntable that was in the pantry for my tumblers, and I feel like it works out perfectly, and also kind of keeps me a lid on me to not be buying too many more tumblers. I love tumblers, but this kind of just reminds me you can only have so many, just keep them to that amount that fits on that little turntable. So after that, I went back over to my pantry and I kind of tried to make sense of some of this baked goods stuff. As you'll see here a little bit later, I do refill some of these. If you guys watch my cooking channel, which is linked below, then you know I do a lot of different types of cooking and baking. I do things that are family friendly with normal flours. I do things that are gluten-free. I do things that are keto friendly. So that all of those things take a lot of different ingredients. So having that area with a lot of ingredients is really helpful and important for my cooking. And I did realize I actually needed some more jars and things like that, but I was not prepared to tackle that this day. So I just cleaned it up the best I could and kind of made a mental note that sometime soon I need to get that a little better organized. So one thing I needed to swap out in the pantry was my cereal containers, and I actually disposed of them before I filmed this video. The original ones, I had them for a couple of years. They were cracked. They just were not functioning correctly anymore. And I also wanted ones with this little flip opening to where my daughters could pour their own cereal, and I highly recommend these containers if you're looking for a good cereal container, because that flip opening also has a seal around it and it will keep your cereal very fresh and sealed off. And then this is the box of containers that I got from Amazon. I actually got 2 sets of these. I'm only using the really tall one from the other set because the rest of them I have another use for, which you guys will see in another video here soon. But this is just what I needed for this space, and as you can see, The top flips open really easily. It's still sealed, but it's just easy for my 4, 5, and 6-year-old to be able to access themselves and not be struggling to open a lid and then food flying everywhere when they finally get it open. So next, I actually put everything in that turntable, and it just had a little bit more room, and with the higher sides, I felt like I could push a lot of the bottles to the edges. And then I grabbed these little drawer sets. I have every time I show these in a video. You all want the links for them, so I will make sure that I put the links below if they are in stock on Amazon. And I went ahead and put some of our single serve snacks into these drawers, and I always get lots of questions on that. Is a lot of snacks. Do you really eat that many snacks? And like I said, I only do this every handful of months. It's something that we just need for quick busy days where we're running out the door and we need a granola bar or need something to go with us. But for the most part, if you watch my cooking channel, you know that we eat a lot of homemade food and meals, but having conveniency foods on hand is necessary in my household. I used to buy a lot of those applesauce pouches when my girls were younger, but now that they're to the age that they are, I get these cups. They are so much cheaper than the pouches, and really what they do is just kind of pull back the foil top on the top of the applesauce cup and kind of drink the applesauce out of it. So it's a great healthy snack for them that they can access themselves, and it costs a lot less than the pouches do. So I recommend trying it out if you have kids that are to the age that could handle holding the cup and drinking the applesauce out of the cup. I love having bins that you can put overflow into, that you can throw things in, that everything doesn't have to look picture perfect all the time. So having those on the bottom is definitely great. And then the next thing that I did was went ahead and restocked my coffee. I put some in these canisters next to my coffee maker. And then as you'll see here in a moment, I put the rest of them into bins with handles on the top shelf in my coffee bar area, which by the way, I have a whole video on this and how the cabinets in this corner are organized, so you can check that out. But I love these style bins with these handles for the tops of kitchen cabinets. I will try to link them below. I know that Amazon carries them, and they're just really easy to be able to kind of quickly grab, even if you're on your tippy toes, and you can store things on the top shelf of your cabinets. Okay, so now we're getting to the Lazy Susan. And so I actually looked on Amazon and some other places for bins and things like that, how people organize these Lazy Susans. And most of the bins that they make for these are actually in a triangle shape, and then you have a bunch of them that you put in to the Lazy Susan the whole way around to make a full circle. Well, as I was looking at this and studying this, I was like, why don't I just go ahead and kind of organize the things that I want to put onto the Lazy Susan in triangles. Now, you don't notice it as much on the bottom, but as you can see with the canned goods, I'm kind of making triangles with my products, like grouping them together and making triangles, or like putting them into an angle as they're lined up. And then in the back, I just kind of put some of my random stuff that I didn't have multiples of, and it worked perfectly. So if you're going to organize your Lazy Susan with, you know, condiments, canned goods, those sorts of things, think about how you're angling the products on the shelf, and it works perfect. So that's why they make the bins for Lazy Susans in triangles, and why not just eliminate the bin and you have more room on your Lazy Susan turnstile if you just organize the products themselves into triangles. Okay, so these things I don't use that often, but I do like to have them on hand, and that is like gluten-free pasta, some rice packets, some extra spices, those sorts of things. And if you watched my first organizing video, when I did the initial organizing of this pantry, I love this backstock system. So basically, I have them labeled with numbers on each bin, and then I have this little dry erase board that's from the Dollar Tree. I love these things. I use them other places. And I just put on the little dry erase board what is in those backstock bins. So I know a lot of people have this style pantry where it's kind of narrow, but it's deep back in, and you don't always know what to do with the space that's back further in the cabinet. While getting these cube style bins, which Target has, by the way, is really handy to just keep extra things, and you can stick it in behind your cereal bins or whatever is more closer to the edge. So I took a minute and I quickly filled up a few of the canisters that held some of my like ingredients, things like rice and oatmeal and flour. They just needed to be refilled, and that was part of my mess. Is I came home from the grocery store with some of the ingredients and just kind of sat them on the shelves and hadn't put them into the correct canisters. Alright, so if you guys watch my channel, then you know where I'm at. I am in my storage closet area, and I had, along with the groceries and things I had gotten to refill the pantry, I also got a few things that needed to be restocked in here. So I went ahead and just pulled out the things that I needed to put into these shelves. Thank you guys for watching today's video. I hope it inspired you to get organized and to get your things done today. Don't forget to leave me a comment. That always helps me out a lot. And if you're new here, don't forget to subscribe. I have lots of home inspiration here on this channel, and I love organizing and just giving you tips and tricks on how to keep your home running smoothly. And I will see you all in my next video.